AITA for slamming the door in my neighbor's face? So just for some context, me, 27F, and my partner, 27M, have an 18-month-old daughter. We live in a top-floor flat in the south of England and have lived here for 3.5 years. Our previous neighbors below me moved about 5/6 of a month ago, and we now have new neighbors. They are a couple in their early mid-20s. I'd say for the purpose of the story I'll call them John and Jane. We had seen them a few times in passing on the stairwell and they seemed nice enough. A month or so ago, Jane knocked on the door and asked if it's possible that we could keep the noise to a minimum, as she works from home and can hear sounds in her living room and is trying to work. I told her I would do my best to accommodate her. However, I have a toddler that doesn't understand how to be quiet really, and so that may not always be possible. She seemed okay with that answer and went back downstairs. I have begun to place thick blankets on the floor in the living room and her bedroom to hopefully mitigate the sounds, and until recent I thought it was fine. Well, recently my daughter has been sick with a chest infection and it's been a rough time while she gets better. Last week, John came up and knocked on the door and began to complain about the noise again. I informed him that I've been trying my best to keep the noise down while she's playing, but there is only so much I can do. He then proceeds to tell me that that's not the issue, but my daughter crying is. I told him that I'm really sorry, but she's been unwell and I can't stop her from crying when she's not feeling well. I explained that it's not something I can control and I'm doing what I can because she's just not sleeping. He wasn't happy with the answer I gave him and started off on a tirade of really horrible things, calling me all the names under the sun and saying that I must be a shitty parent if I can't comfort her enough for her to stop crying. I lost it and told him that I refuse to be spoken to that way and that I have been more than accommodating to him and Jane when it comes to my daughter playing, and that I'm sorry that I cannot control when my daughter cries. That I'm doing the best I can and I wish I was also getting more rest. I then proceeded to call him a few more colorful names myself and slammed the door in his face. My partner was at work, so I called a friend of mine who said that although he agreed with me, I shouldn't have slammed the door in his face and should have tried to be more respectful of him, and that I should knock downstairs and apologize to him. So Reddit, AITA? NTA, don't lose your time and energy with this guy. You can't control your daughter crying, and if she's ill or not. Fast and complete recovery to your little angel, by the way. This guy is just plainly stupid to believe that if a mom could do something to soothe her kid's cry, she wouldn't, just to annoy the neighbor's woman. Facepalming light skin tone. You're English, so I believe you were raised to be very polite, but there's times you don't need to be polite and just get rid of stupid people. Like, you don't have to be polite if the guy in front of you of calling you names. In your situation I would have said, dude, if you're not smart enough to understand that a sick toddler is not a TV, I can't do anything for you. Door slammed shut. Being polite is a thing, but standing your grounds is also important. NTA, I think almost everyone that has cared for children before completely understands it's impossible to keep full control of a kid's actions and reactions. Your daughter is sick and that must be uncomfortable for her, so her natural response is to cry, which is not your fault. Also, a lot of children don't care about how loud they are. After all, demanding attention is their goal. I wonder if they, neighbors, even took actions themselves to try to cancel the noise somehow. From what you explained, they seem entitled. Slamming the door on someone's face isn't polite, but it is a way to deal with these kind of people. You defended yourself and your home from your neighbor's hostility. In short, neighbors need to learn you can't put children in silent mode. NTA, it sounds like you were trying to be accommodating to your neighbors by making efforts to reduce the noise in your apartment. Your daughter being sick and crying is not something you can control, and it is not fair for your neighbor to criticize you for it. Furthermore, his response was completely inappropriate and unacceptable, and you were justified in standing up for yourself and shutting the door in his face. You are not an asshole for doing so. It may be helpful to have a conversation with your partner about how to handle future interactions with your neighbors, but you are not in the wrong for reacting the way you did.